Hey everyone, Bart's doing well. Welcome back to a new video. So this was a pretty simple workout that went pretty well. I started out with some snatch doubles. You'll see a very slow, excuse that burp, but you'll see a very slow triple here, and that was just really just to kind of feel everything out and just get warmed up and try to make sure everything felt pretty good. I after the 95 went up, did normal jumps, but the working sets were at 100. And I did a couple sets there, and then my last one I did a set at 105. And when I did my set at 105, I wanted to go to 110, but I made the compromise that I'll do 105, and if I do a really good double, then I'll try to do a triple, and that's what happened. So I don't know if it was this workout where I kind of had this technical flaw or in a different one, but really the focus I have been having on the pulling portion of the lifts is treating it more like a deadlift, in the sense like if I'm doing a snatch pull or snatch deadlift, if you've seen my other workouts, I kind of do them in a lasha style where I don't really focus a ton on the like pull at the top. It's mostly just getting it to the hips with my shoulders over the bar, and I've been kind of trying to treat my pull like that in the snatch while making sure I get to that hip point and then just doing the rest of the lift. It seemed to help, and it seems to have allowed me to lift a little bit better in those lifts that I'm doing that properly in. More so in the snatch than in the clean. Thankfully for cleans, I just don't really have a lot of issues in the pull. I think just because the biomechanics are pretty similar to that of a deadlift, and for deadlifts for me are pretty natural. But when you move the hands out, things happen differently. See here, I was moving pretty good. I don't remember if I was particularly sore in any certain area, but I did switch, so I think I had the wrist wraps on with the green straps, and I went to these blue ones. I mostly just wanted, or these are just Iron Mind ones, which are my normal straps, and they're shorter, which is why I usually like using them, but they're usually the more comfortable ones versus the green ones, which to their credit are pretty good, but they're nice to have if I have wrist wraps on, since they're a little bit longer. But my preference is to not have anything on my wrist and to just use these blue ones, because I feel like I get a little bit tighter. It just feels a little bit more comfortable. But you see some of my first sets here of the 100. They weren't too great, but as I moved forward, they progressively got a bit better, which is why I felt more encouraged on the last set to bump up. And I was just generally happy with how these were moving, because it looked like I was moving pretty technically well. Besides that rep there, of course, a little bit of a press help. But generally, like, I felt like I was moving pretty quickly, I was moving pretty precisely, and there wasn't, like, the doubles were pretty easy. And I don't know, it just always feels like no matter what my max is, doing doubles with 100 just always feels not necessarily intimidating, but it feels like actual hard work. And I don't really know why that is. Like, I've been able to do doubles with the 100 for a very long time at this point, but it always feels difficult, where at least mentally it's like, oh, I have doubles at 100 today. I don't know. You see here, the first rep I was really happy with. Then I came back. Actually didn't take too much time in between. Hit a decent rep, and I said, let's do a third. And I was very happy with this. Let's see if it didn't look too bad. Yeah, a little bit out in front, but pretty good for a third rep. I don't know my best triple in snatch is. It's not really an important lift to track. Doubles, I think, have a little bit of a correlation, but triples are a little bit out there, especially because I'm not doing them, straight. I'm doing them more like a cluster. Clean jerk work was a bit simpler. It was just up to 130, I believe, was the top set that I did. And I don't know, it was just pretty normal, easy work. Nothing that was too radical, and they were just full clean jerks, so hook grip and everything, so nothing fancy about them. My jerks continue to feel pretty good. This first 125, I looked kind of unhappy after the jerk, but it was mostly just because the jerk went further behind me than I was comfortable with, and it wasn't necessarily in a bad way. It was actually in a good position. It just kind of, you see there, it kind of threw off my balance, because I always push my jerks forward, so I actually pushed it back behind me. But I was happy with where it ended. And then that second 125, the clean actually looked difficult, which is weird. But then this jerk was pretty decent as well. I remember being a little unbalanced too. Yeah, I was a little bit forward with my balance, but generally pretty happy with how those went, so I decided to push the last one up to 130. Clean was better. I just caught the bounce a little bit better, I suppose. And we'll see the jerk. Not too bad. That was actually the best out of the three heavy ones. I suppose I just tried a bit harder. But my timing in the jerk has been getting better. I've been more aggressive in the dip drive, and I think that's allowing me just to get the bar up a bit more and just to be a little bit more intentional with the drive, to get a little bit more out of the whip of the bar, and to be a little bit more just generally aggressive, which is something I think is probably my biggest struggle when I'm doing clean and rep jerks, is just being generally not as aggressive as I need to be, because I'm usually fatigued from doing the other lifts. But yeah, been happy with how those have been moving. These are just some snatch pulls. As you see, I don't really do the big shrug at the top, just really focused on making sure the bar is moving in the correct positions. But yeah, that's it for this workout, so I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.